Hello, all of you vaingloriously wonderful people. The holiday update for Astroneer is live, so let's take a look at what's new, what's changed, and talk about my first impressions of this update. This update does include a limited time event, but we'll take a look at that near the end of the video. Let's get started with looking at the new high quality mode graphics options available in the game settings. High quality terrain can be toggled on and off and changes the level of detail that you see in the terrain. Terrain LOD blending will essentially ease the boundary that separates the nearby high quality terrain and the lower quality terrain in the distance. Distance detail does exactly what it sounds like. You see more and more scenery and objects in the distance. Object detail will render objects with greater detail, and you can definitely see its impact on objects that are farther in the distance. Shadow and lighting detail will give you nicer, more realistic shadows as you increase the slider value. Extra shadow casters essentially allow additional objects to cast shadows on their surroundings. And the field of view bias slider allows you to easily increase and decrease your field of view. If you make some changes that you do not like, you can easily reset all of this back to their defaults with the reset option. And for those on lower end PCs, this could come in handy. Each of these high quality mode settings will impact your performance. Even on my higher end gaming PC, I do notice a drop in frames per second, and those on less powerful PCs will see an even greater performance hit as they increase the values on each slider. Thankfully, Systemair has been hard at work with game optimization over the past several updates, so you could probably give yourself a little bit of high quality mode enhancement no matter your hardware. The high quality mode enhancements also bring about additions that will make Astroneer work better for those of you with widescreen displays. The high quality mode settings not only make the game prettier, but they can come in handy to progress actual gameplay. With everything cranked up to the max, you'll now be able to see things from farther away. All of the stuff that we often search for as we explore a planet's surface will now appear farther in the distance, meaning we will not have to spend as much time covering small sections just to ensure we haven't missed something. And the high quality mode settings will come in really handy for this year's holiday event, but we'll talk about that later. Many of these high quality mode settings will be available on the console versions of the game as well, with the new PlayStation and Xbox consoles ready to take advantage of these new enhancements. Moving on, we have two new platforms in Astroneer. The large extended platform can be unlocked with 500 research bytes and is crafted on the medium printer from 2 resin. It features 2 tier 2 slots on either end with a long beam separating them, and each end has 3 power plugs. This new platform, when outfitted with an auto arm on one end, is the closest thing that we have to conveyor belts in Astroneer. There is also the extra large extended platform that you can unlock for 750 bytes and craft on the large printer from 3 resin. Again, the ends are extended outward and perfectly spaced to accommodate some auto arms. Used together, these two new platforms will help you upgrade your automation setups. I've set up a pretty basic hydrazine factory with an auto extractor way out in the woods and a series of auto arms on the smaller platforms moving the ammonium back to the chemistry lab on the base. The auto arm on the large platform is allowing the ammonium to make a 90-degree turn as it hands it off to the chemistry lab. And if you're familiar with automation setups, you should be able to recognize how the rest of this works. I like these new platforms as they take a bit of the guesswork out of putting together some automation things. Since that beam in the middle is right at the limit of how far an auto arm can reach, you can use these platforms to easily gauge where each one needs to go to keep things running. This update also brings with it a couple of quality life improvements surrounding shuttles. When you're ready to blast off into space, you can now select whether you wish to launch into orbit around the planet you're on or launch to a different planet. If you select that latter option, you will blast off directly into the view of the solar system. That means you'll be ready to select your next planet. Blasting off into orbit will retain the same launch functionality that we've had all along. But this is not the only enhancement to spaceflight. Once you are in orbit around a planet, you can speed up or slow down. This means if you've come into orbit on the opposite side of the planet from your base, you can speed things up and get back quicker. Or if you're trying to decide between landing spots, you can slow things down to give yourself some more time. A small number of items have joined the lineup of backpack printer objects that can also be printed from the small printer, and these include work lights, packagers, small canisters, and more. And we will also be talking a bit more about printable objects that we get to go with the Project Tier Delivery event later in this video. There were, of course, other performance improvements and bug fixes, but you can check all of that out in the patch notes over on Reddit. I'll include a link in the description below. EXO Outfitters has some new stuff available to purchase as well. When the update first launched, there was nothing in the EXO Outfitters store at all. Thankfully, Systemair sorted out that little problem really quick, but here's how things looked when the update first dropped. At the time I wrote this voiceover, the Astroneer Discord was full of reports of problems with the update. I know for me personally, the EXO request platform had no event active until after I restarted the game a few times. And for me, the EXO Outfitters store went from not having any new items to having absolutely nothing at all. And I was also seeing people report in the Astroneer Discord that the event was not properly crediting them for their project tier delivery points that they have sent off. To wrap up what's new in this update, let's take a look at this year's holiday event, Project Cheer Delivery. Our robot friends Automaton 1 and 2 have returned, along with the cubic and stellar objects. You'll find these scattered about the surface of Silva, Desolo, Calidor, and Glacio. It seems that there are quite a few more of these crash sites full of event items when comparing to last year. You'll also find packagers laying around the ground amongst most of the event items and debris, and that'll help you get started with the event. Now, there probably won't be enough packagers for every item you find, but it is still a nice little touch to help you make progress in the event. Also making a return are the Aurora Australis on the planets where the event items can be found, along with the much loved holiday lights on the end of tethers. This year's event adds in the isolated specimen, which are these lovely sparkly snowmen that you find on Glacio. Dig up one of these sparkly boys and you'll reveal an Astral figurine. The various event items are worth progressively more points. Automatons are worth 20 points, cubic objects are worth 30, stellar objects are worth 50, and the Astral figurine will get you 100 points. Simply package these objects and then attach them to the EXO request platform, and then launch that rocket to redeem the points for the event. There is one other item, the Cosmic Bauble, which is worth 75 event points, and we'll talk about that one in just a couple seconds. If fetch quests really aren't your thing, you can still take part in this event. This year, the Project Cheer Delivery event allows you to craft event items from the printer. Automatons can be printed from 1 scrap, cubic objects from 1 carbon and 1 scrap, stellar objects from 1 glass and 1 scrap, and cosmic baubles from 1 astronium and 1 scrap. I haven't actually found any cosmic baubles out in the wild yet, but I also haven't spent a lot of time looking outside of areas near my bases on Silva and Glacio. They might be out there somewhere, perhaps on a different planet, but I'm just not sure. But hey, now with the ability to print automatons, you can set your sights on automating an automaton production line to fulfill your dreams of having a robot army at your disposal. You can unlock a handful of items through the Project Cheer Delivery event, including the Tinseltown palette for 1500 points, the Festive Chatbo hat for 3500, and the Bobblehead visor for 6500. There are also a couple of markers on the progress bar that indicate care packages that you'll receive along the way. I have yet to complete the event, and honestly I haven't even tried to start it for that matter since people are reporting bugs, but I will be streaming Astroneer sometime later tonight, just once I get this video finished, and I'll be trying to unlock everything from the event. You can join me at twitch.tv/Vainglorious Gaming. As soon as I have everything unlocked, I'll make a follow-up video showcasing everything that you can unlock through the Project Cheer Delivery event. The patch notes did not make any note of any charity tie-ins this year, though Joe did mention something in the stream recently about a fundraiser marathon possibly happening soon to raise money for charity. Now, full disclosure on this one, I approached Joe with this idea back at the end of September of this year. I'm sure that the finished product will be a bit different than what I proposed, but I am really excited for an opportunity to help raise funds for charity again this year. Finally, if you have any of the B.O.O event fuels laying about, you'll be able to cash those in for some bytes. For the fuels themselves, you can drop them into a research chamber for a few hundred bytes each, and Spooky Squash samples, well, you can scan those or place them in a research chamber for some bytes as well. I have an auto arm slowly feeding my leftovers to my research chamber because, you can never have too many research bytes. Overall, this is a decent little update. The new platforms go a long way to assisting players who want to set up large automation chains, and having even more smaller items available on the small printer will help with that as well. The high quality mode settings are a welcome addition that not only make the game look even better on higher end hardware, but also can help out with gameplay. And while I think all the objects in the event are kind of cute, I'm also kind of really bored with events overall in Astroneer. Essentially, the events are not enough on their own to drive my desire to keep playing Astroneer. If it weren't for the fact that I have a collection saved with items from every past event, I probably wouldn't even bothered with the last two. Sure, the unlockable cosmetics are nice, but they are not enough to make me want to keep playing the game. I guess what I'm trying to say is that events do a great job of getting me excited to play the game for a couple of hours. The slow trickle of new base building items that we have is not enough either. As much as Astroneer holds a very special place in my heart, I really need some updates that add more actual gameplay to the game itself. I need new adventures to go on, not just limited time events. I want new resources, new objects, new reasons to dive deep into the game, which of course means more new story related stuff. I really feel like Astroneer has the potential to expand on a truly special and meaningful story full of lore, and for me, those are the things that I need to keep my desire to play Astroneer going strong into 2021. And hey, of course, if I had reason to keep playing Astroneer, I'd also probably be likely to want to spend some money in EXO Outfitters just to keep my look and emotes fresh. I know that System Era does see my videos, so I hope that they will receive this feedback with an open mind. The bugs that coincided with the release of this update were rather disappointing as well. At the time that I originally wrote this voiceover, System Era had not yet commented on the state of the event or EXO Outfitters, so we didn't really have any clue what was happening. Granted, EXO Outfitters eventually got updated, but from this end, it looked like something got out of sync, and perhaps the update might have dropped before everything else on the back end was ready. Honestly, that is not a good look, and it gives the impression of a studio kind of flying by the seat of its pants. This is not the quality that I have come to expect from System Era, and I hope that they will pay closer attention to such details when the next update drops. Now, all of this is not to suggest that System Era is not doing a great job. The updates and performance enhancements that we've had over the past year are all very well done, but I just want something more. And I want these things because I love Astroneer and I really want a reason to keep playing it without just repeating the same activities over and over and over again. And I kind of also want an update that just works when I download it. But I would love to hear your thoughts on the holiday update. Are you excited to get started on the Project Tier Delivery event? How do you plan on making use of the new platforms? And what else do you think about the state of Astroneer after this update? Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. And that's going to do it for the holiday update for Astroneer. Be sure to follow me on Twitter so you get announcements of all my videos, live streams, and just other random thoughts that I post. And follow my Twitch channel so that you can hang out with chat in the live streams. And also come hang out with us on the Vainglorious Discord server where we have a ton of regular Astroneer players. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications for even more Astroneer content, along with a pretty big variety of games that I feature on my channel. Until next time, I'm Brandon, reminding you to stay vainglorious.